Good evening, good afternoon, good everything, depending upon where you are. Welcome back, family. Welcome to All the Things, the Diamond Spaces podcast. I am your host, and it is my honor to do so. And I'm Deanna Ransom, a gospel artist, minister, and your sister friend on this wild and beautiful journey called life. I can't tell you how excited I am to have tonight's guest with me, but let me tell y'all something. She's not just a guest on this show, she is my sister friend. And it means so much in this thing called life when we have people that are true and that are real. And they mean what they say. And quite frankly, they'll scrap and get in the fight with you. And that's who this woman is. And so tonight, I want to bring to you, without a whole lot of delay, I hope you'll subscribe to the podcast if you're not. I hope you'll join us on this journey. It's only going to get gooder and gooder. Yeah, I'm testing everybody's English tonight. But I promise you, this is really going to be powerful. And so I want to introduce, with all of the honor that honor is due, because I have no problems giving honor when it's due, the navigator, apostle, the woman of God. But she's also just like that real big sis, Tamil Curtis. Welcome to All the Things.
Hi.
Hello. It's so good to see your smiling face.
Ooh, I was looking down because I was trying to find it, and I was like, I'm just gonna share the YouTube link and all the things because we're talking about all the things.
All the things. You like my cowboy hat? I'm trying to do something different.
Yeah, well, you did that because I'm down here in Houston, so you wanted to show a little and love, for your sister, and I appreciate it.
That's all I was trying to do, is make sure that we show some love. But listen, you got too much wisdom to get out here tonight, to the point where I just need to be sure that people are getting from you what you have prepared for them. Let's put it like that.
Ooh, okay.
So yeah, that part. So tonight, y'all, we're going to talk about a topic that is very near, very dear real talk, right? Things that honestly we all are really dealing with. And we're going to do it in such a real way, when there's an internal war within and we have that conflict within. And, sometimes there's a gap between, what we ought to do and what we feel like doing. So, to help navigate this emotional traffic jam, Tamil,
traffic jam.
Come through, Navigator. Look, come through, Navigator.
Put everything to use tonight is what you're saying. All right, let's go. We're going to take the brakes off, okay?
Oh, okay. Let's get into it. We're not going to start with a collision. We're going to start with, forward motion. So I want to start with, that moment when everything can seem to hit all at once. You're grieving. Somebody betrayed you. Your body is tired. And your spirit is like, I can't take not one more. Yes, I said more. One more thing, not one more. I want you to talk a little bit about when our desires, what we're dealing with, and God's direction don't agree, and the overload that it can create. Have you experienced that?
I think the better question would be, how many times have I experienced that? Like, this is so apropos to life now, and the Tamil that I am today is not the Tamil that would have been answering prior to Mama dying, right?
Yes, yeah.
The thing
Mama
that
Curtis, for y'all who don't know,
the thing that I have found out, sis, is that first of all, we have to understand that our desires are not wrong. right? It's not an automatic disqualification when what we desire doesn't quite line up with what God's purpose is for that moment. It just means we're out of sync. We're a little out of rhythm.
Right.
And a lot of times the friction that we feel is more so internal, because it's like that wrestling of, but God, I feel like I'm at a point where I deserve this. I have been doing
I just got
what
tight.
you asked and all of the things, and I feel like for some I'm entitled to
Mm,
this.
mm.
And so now you're telling me that it's still not time for what I want. I still have to do more of what you need, right?
Jesus.
And
Yeah.
so that becomes that war of our humanity and our spirituality, right? Our soulish realm and our
Mm.
spirit and our flesh is all like all these things. And I'm gonna tell you what I have learned to do. I have learned to come in the house, take my makeup off, take my wig off, peel off my clothes, and get in my bed and go to sleep.
That part. That part.
Because woke Tamil is going to try to ration and reason and find, you
Yeah.
know, the little caveats and the fine print that we can. A girl, I
Put the
take,
magnifying glass on the fine print.
listen, I take naps, right? And I'll be like, okay, because at the end of the day, we still got to do it. And it's so much better when we yield and surrender to the will of God.
Ooh. Ooh.
And so there's something holy about rest that allows our bodies to get a resolve.
My God.
And so usually when things are happening, the first thing that I look at is, have I rested? The second thing is, have I prayed enough?
You mean without ceasing? Is that the kind of thing you're talking about?
The kind of prayer where you know that you have touched the heart of God, not the, oh God, I thank you for waking me up this morning.
Yes.
And I'm in my right mind, and keep me as I go, about my day. And no, the kind when we really press in and we give him supplication, when we really give him adoration, when we really repent,
And
right?
it's not perfunctory, but it's preparatory. Is that what you getting at, sis?
Absolutely 100.
Okay, I just want to check in.
Absolutely 100%. So yeah, it's just our desires sometimes can be out of rhythm or out of sync, or out of time with what God wants.
That's good.
um, I've learned that what's for me is for me, and it's going to happen. And usually it doesn't happen the way that I even thought it would. And it's so much better.
I love that because it helps us to recognize that our thoughts are not his thoughts, his ways are not our ways. And I love how you used, syncopation or being out of sync as the thing. But I guess I'm wondering, you explained it as a war within. And are there times when the war you having on the inside making you go to sleep is draining you? It's louder than everything on the outside. I've felt that. I'm
Mhm,
sleeping but not resting.
mhm.
If
Which is why I said rest more than I said sleep intentionally, because we can sleep and not rest. If you are a creative of any kind, sometimes it's hard for your mind to shut
ooh,
off,
you just preach to me.
right? When you are an innovator, and when you are a purpose carrier, sometimes it's hard for your mind to shut off, which is why I've intentionally learned how to rest, right? And rest sometimes doesn't necessarily mean me going to sleep. It can mean me turning everything off and shutting out the outside world, and dealing with that, because I think every purpose carrier, um, we get those moments where the applause actually become draining,
Mm,
right? I think
mm,
we get those moments where um, we have the accomplishment, but it causes us to spiral,
my God.
right? I think that there is a thing of success that we don't always deal with. And because we don't always deal with it, we don't know how to manage it. And so
Mm.
that warring, especially if you've been dealing with life, and we use a term called bittersweet, right?
Yes, we do.
You know, life is life, and but you just got some of the best news of your life, and now you feel guilty because you want to celebrate, but you should still be grieving what took place and it's all those things rolled up and balled up into one. That rest is what's essential. Because here's the thing about a storm: once a storm has formed, it's nothing you can do to stop it. It's got to
Right,
run its
right.
course. And sometimes
I
those
feel like
storms.
that's a hashtag. I really do, because I don't think folks realize that sometimes it's so eerily quiet when you're right in the eye of the storm. And we tend to look at a storm as bad, but a storm is like a reset or a refresh. Am I on track, Apostle?
100% on track. So here's the thing about that I love about God and being a nerd. Have you ever questioned? Well, let me start with this. Water is H2O, correct?
Yep, that's the element.
And clean water has no smell, correct?
I, they should not. It bet not.
Then how is it that we can smell when it's about to rain?
Mm, it's a sensing.
It's a sensing because nature literally releases an oil from
Come.
itself to protect itself so that the rain doesn't cause it to drown. The rain does exactly what it's supposed to do in that moment: cleanse, purify, water to grow, cultivate, all of the things, right? So the storm is going to happen, but the oil is there to protect it.
Wait a minute. Say it again. Hold up. I don't know if y'all heard that. Rewind. The oil does what now?
The oil protects the flowers and the trees and the bushes so that it doesn't drown, because you do know that something could be watered too much and it dies, right? So if God rains on the just as well as the unjust, it may not be the same kind of rain, but it's a rain nonetheless.
Wait a minute.
And the
Can
oil
we
is
peel this back? Can we peel this back? Because you talking about this rain, and you know I'm about to go all the way off script. So here we go. Dive deep. If you can rain a thing, and it can be so much that it can potentially drown, and you don't recognize and smell that the rain is not to drown you, but it's actually to flourish and nourish you.
Mhm.
How do you sift? Come on, Navigator. Help them navigate how they need to sift through emotion and spirit so that they can understand the good rain from the deluge.
Well, here's the thing: all rain is good. It's about perspective, right? All rain is good. It's about capacity when it rains, right? There are times that it can rain right here in Houston. There are times that it rains and nothing happens. Then there are times that it rains and it floods in 2 minutes time. Same area, same spot, right? Different outcome.
Different outcomes.
So it's understanding, first of all, as humans, we have emotions. We're going to have our emotional responses, our emotional reactions, our emotional prompts, our emotional projections, and sometimes our emotional triggers. We have to move in a way of perspective.
That requires, I would imagine that requires maturation.
It requires such a level, and here's the thing: it doesn't require us to be perfect.
That's right.
Because maturity doesn't mean that I'm perfect. It means that I'm perfected in an area, right? It's similar, but it's different. And so it's all about perspective. How are you moving through life? How do you allow your experiences and your background and what happened and what didn't happen?
Mm.
navigate your life, right? Usually people that have any type of daddy issues or daddy traumas, they have a hard time believing that God can be God.
Ooh, did you just drop that? Did you say that?
I did. If you come from a family that was abusive in any kind of way, verbally, because it's not always physical,
That's right.
verbally and emotionally,
Emotionally, yes.
you tend to move in a way of self sabotage because it's like I'm not going to allow myself to get too happy or to get too far or to accomplish too much because I know the rug is going to get pulled from up under me.
So that betrayal, that trigger, which is stemmed and rooted in betrayal, causes them to be through lack of trust, whether it's trust of God, trust of the process, trust. They don't know how to trust God most times themselves. How what would you say to someone who is wrestling with betrayal and doesn't know how to trust again?
The first thing that I would say is forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person,
That's right.
right? And contrary to popular belief, forgiveness does not mean that I'm not acknowledging that it happened.
That's right.
Forgiveness is I am resolved that if I never get that apology, I'm good.
It's complete. It is.
Forgiveness is reaching a level of wholeness that the one that betrayed you, you no longer are thinking of ways to get back at them, right? Forgiveness is when you can even see their name come across something and you don't feel
Anything.
anything, and understand, because I think we all deal with betrayal on so many levels, but it's the betrayal of the ones that we actually allow in our hearts.
That's good. Because
um
the others don't hurt us because we haven't allowed them to get that close.
but it's something about the ones that are close, like I went through a situation where someone that I considered to be a sister took events that was happening because of their past
Okay.
trauma and literally like started attacking my character, started saying I was so in discord. And I mean, it blew up into this whole big thing where Human Tamil was ready to remove herself from everybody that had any type of association, right? Because I'm of the mindset that I don't have to be present to be defended
That's right.
if I know you, right? And I really felt like those that knew me and did life with me, I felt like they went silent because I didn't see or experience
Yeah.
the type
Secret
of
love instead of love that shows up and speaks up.
I didn't know the behind the scenes conversations. And I'm honest enough to say I'm a person that I have to catch myself because I will tell myself a whole bunch of stories and I will make it plain in my head what I'm thinking it is. Right?
You are a creator.
Baby, I can create the story, which is why I have to rest, right? And it ain't got nothing to do with being prophetic, right? It has nothing to do with being,
That's right.
have. It's my insecurities will start to say stuff and do stuff. And before you know it, I done wrote this whole novel on what was
Listen,
what.
if there's a blank, you will fill it in.
I will fill it in. And so I have had to learn how to stop and say, I still feel this, but I'm not carrying this. And my godbrother taught me years ago. We call it the resurrection rule.
Oh, I
Deanna,
like this.
what the resurrection rule is?
No, come on, give it to us.
The resurrection rule is you're only going to get 3 days of my tears,
Oh, yes.
my
Okay.
hurt, my anger, my sadness, my disappointment, my confusion. Like, I don't understand why it happens. I was always a person that I'm not afraid of confrontation. So let's have the hard conversations. I want to know what I did. I want to know what caused you to do that. And I am at a point now where baby, that third day, I'm getting resurrected. I am getting up. I'm not eating the whole thing of Ben and Jerry's ice cream.
Not
I
the
will, let me tell you something. And I'm going to do something for Tamil.
yes,
Says, I'm not even memorializing it. This situation here that got eulogized, and I am moving forward.
that's right.
I'm not setting up any type of memorials that will allow my mind to go back, because reality is somebody else will do something that resembles that, but it's not the same intent. And if we have not dealt with that internal thing
Oh,
and that internal forgiveness, that even I shouldn't have allowed them that close in, and I
oh.
know human being, we start beating ourselves up, baby. We're human, and as long as we do,
Listen, I
and
own my own belt for beating myself up when I feel like I should have known, and I think that that's just part of that human conflict, that emotional conflict within that gets loud. It gets really loud. And I'm wondering for someone who is dealing with, and I think there's deep seated things that need to be processed differently from an emotional aspect versus a spiritual aspect. So there's this thing that a lot of people tend to do where we spiritualize. Oh, did I say that out loud? I'm sorry. You said real talk. We spiritualize everything and we don't deal with the emotional. And I hear you saying you process the emotion and you give space to the emotion to heal, so that
100%.
then you have the grace for the spirit to flow. Did I catch? Am I catching that right?
And it could be vice versa for some people. It might be spiritual first and then natural. But
Mm-hmm.
ultimately, you have to understand that our soul are computers,
Come
and
on, come on.
our soul will literally have the memory card and that SIM card of what happened. I could tell you the date, the time, what I was wearing, what they were wearing. I could tell you the cologne they had on, the perfume they had on, what I had on, what was on our feet. If we ate, I could tell you everything that was at the table.
Yes.
Our soul wants to remember. But anybody that knows anything about electronics, what keeps your electronics good and running is for you to clean them.
That's right.
And so
That's
for
right.
some people, it's processing it emotionally first. For some, it's processing it spiritually first. But ultimately, both of those things have to be processed
That's
for you
right.
to be whole.
You have to deal with both. And I sense that there's been a little bit of a disconnect, particularly and sometimes in our community,
Mhm.
from the emotional part. And there's this whole thing where, oh, I want you to speak a little bit about how to deconstruct not being guilty because of the rest that you need in order to process it, because there's this whole thing about like grind
Mhm.
being godliness. So if we're going to process both of those things and we're going to do it with the right tools so that we can be whole, I need you to talk a little bit about how people can get the space to rest and recover without guilt, without, oh no, sister, you need to be in the building and you need to do this and you need to keep going and doing all these things without ever taking a moment.
I think, well, first of all, I don't think that grinding is godly. I believe that working is, right? I think that grinding can be a coping mechanism when we don't want to deal with what we need to deal with, right? Um,
She said
Most workaholics work like they do, not because they're trying to accomplish something, but they're escaping something.
it. Wait a minute. So I'm gonna ask you a question and I'm gonna be controversial for 5 seconds. It's not really controversy, but I want to hear this because some people, as you said, they are workaholics because they're escaping something. And I have tended to kind of call that, now that's your drug of choice, right? Is it possible that church can be some people's drug of choice?
It's an addiction. I mean, how many times have we ever seen leaders who might not have been married or leaders that did not like their spouse and they kept us in church for 7 days a week.
Oh, she said it. Oh my God. Oh,
Home.
she said it, y'all.
You don't have no life outside of the pastorate. So you want us to be here all the time, right?
She said it.
It's a drug, and it's a drug that we tend to want other people to partake with us so that we all can have a good time. No, it's the difference between the ministry aspect of serving, because ministry means I am given a service. I've been made to serve, right?
Yes.
A minister
Yes.
is to find needs and meet the needs. But when you are a workaholic in it, you've met the need, but now you're creating another need to be met.
Oh, did you say creating another need so that you are now in a perpetual cycle of self-service versus ministry? I'm sorry. Go ahead, Apostle.
Because we want the applause. I think anybody that tells me that I don't have to be celebrated, you a lie. We were created for community. And
wait, hashtag you a lie.
And if you want me to get real country with it, use a
lie.
USA LIE. Okay, it's there. There is something about when someone can acknowledge you and tell you,
come on,
done. Right? Well, if that's all that you have built your life around is the need of people needing you, because that can be a need, right? So there's that need of people needing you.
My God.
And you will create problems to solve them.
Oh, wait a minute. I got a question. If you operate from the premise of needing to be needed and creating problems so that you can be the answer, is there a potentiality that if that's how you operate, you will only deal with broken people who need you, meaning your relationships can get into an unhealthy cycle because you can't deal with a healed whole person? I'm asking.
Watch this. They can be broken and still not need you. The thing becomes the need, right? And this is something that I had to learn. Samil Arnay Curtis had to learn this, and this is one of my life's mantras that I want to share with you all. Just because I know the answer doesn't mean that I am the answer.
Can somebody please you say that one more again?
Just because I know the answer, I can have the answer. That doesn't mean that I'm your answer, Deanna. And just because I love you doesn't mean that you're my assignment.
Oh, I'm not saying anything. Just keep talking.
I had to be okay when the people that were the closest to me were not utilizing me and my services. And I had to not gloat when it didn't work because you didn't utilize my services, right?
Let me, because I know we're technically at time, but it's my show. We're gonna go a little bit over because you onto something where you may not be the answer, but also recognizing that when you might be the answer, I want to reverse it on you. When you might be, but they don't want it to be you. Can you speak to that?
Then I'm not their answer. It's real simple. I am a black or white, right? Because here's the thing, in this walk, in this thing that we do, I know there are people that were supposed to open the doors for me. I know it's people that were supposed to extend their stages to me. I know it was people that were supposed to yield opportunity to me. I know there are people that were supposed to sow into me. I knew that they had the answer and they chose not to do it. And guess what? I had to be okay with that. Because ultimately, even though God's favor is always seen through people and through connection and through community, there's a thing that we have called the power of choice.
Free will. It's a thing.
And if I'm really honest, it's been a time or two that I knew I was the answer and I said, Hades, no.
Not, I need y'all to know she said Hades.
I said Hades, the mouths of Shoel, okay? No.
And guess what? I believe that there's a piece of that, real talk, because we're going to wrap soon, but I think that that gets us to a place of making peace with ourselves while we're still a work in progress. And I think anyone listening to us should be able to relate. Real talk.
Because
To
here's the thing, though, Deanna, to get to that place, you actually got to grieve yourself. There's a part of you that's got to die.
okay, so if you going there, we gonna go there. Don't start.
I'm just saying, like, I said it before we started. The Tamil that I am in 2025, and this is October, was not the Tamil that I was October of 2021 when my mother was still alive, right? When my mother left here, August 28th, 2022, there is a part of Tamil Arnay Curtis that died when she died.
Yeah, that's right.
And I had to discover this new me. And if I'm honest, I didn't like her because she had became too nice.
Mm.
The Tamil that died was the one that I love God with all my heart. He has brought me a mighty long way, but he has not brought me all the way. And I would cuss you up the front and down the back and sleep real good at night. And the Lord said, daughter, no.
That's
With
not.
love
That's not the.
kindness have I drawn thee.
Mm.
Right. I was the one that I was the friend who, and all my friends know that me being an introvert, if we don't talk
Mm.
every day, that doesn't mean that we are not friends,
That's
right?
right.
But you know, when you need me, I am there. But intentionality became such a driving force for me in the relationships that remained. That there's something that I call good grief. And I wouldn't be who I am if I had not grieved. I wouldn't have become who I've became if I did not grieve. I would not have tapped into a level of revelation and innovation if I had not grieved. So that means that's good, right?
Grief in and of itself is a healing process, and I think
Mm-hmm.
we are often limited in our understanding of a thing, and when you limit anything, you don't get the full benefit because you don't understand it. Is that fair?
That's that's beyond fair. I think that's probably one of the most accurate analogies, descriptions, however you want to call it, that I've ever heard. That with grief, we have to understand that to everything there's a time and a season. And I
That's
mean,
right.
even if we're going to be shouting and speaking prophetically and declaring, it's harvest time, it's harvest season, then you got to understand that that seed has to die so
That's
that it
right.
can live. So grief is a part of our journey, and I think we just have to learn how to let go without losing ourselves. And that's a process in learning that. We have to be okay when God tells us to hush and you can't defend yourself. We
Mm.
grieve those moments, right? We have to be okay when God tells us to call the very person that we know was the one that was dogging us and running our name through the ground. We got $100 in our pocket, and God tells you to call them, pray for them, and sow that $100. Baby, we have to grieve
Oh,
sometimes being
oh,
obedient.
oh, because that is really literally a crucifying self, right? Because if we don't get to that place, we never, to your point, we never resurrect to the new thing, the new being. We are never the new creature if we're going to operate in the same old things. And we always run around, behold, all things have become new. It's not words. It's a process. It's a work. It's a
It's
daily
character.
dying to yourself. We on the
It's
same?
character. It's personality. It's all the things that the people that need to be needed don't have. Right? It's like folks that be like, I'm a prophet, so I don't. Baby, no,
Uh,
you
uh,
mean.
look, I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to make that face when you said it, but as soon as I heard it, it just
I'm glad that we have finally entered into an era where we're calling a spade a spade. And some of these folks that say that they're introvert, you're not an introvert. You just don't know how to communicate. You're not shy. You just weird and awkward, and you never accepted the fact that you were weird and awkward, and you don't. You know what I'm saying? Now, baby, it ain't got nothing to be with you being prophetic. You have no personality.
you ain't got no personality. You wet
But
stiff
baby,
red. Oh, I'm sorry.
my God is a great performer. He's the one that said, "Let there be," and there was.
Okay, hung the stars in
And
the
learning
sky.
in his image, like, boo, you try that with somebody else. You can't try that with me.
That's hilarious. Wait. Okay, I know we over. But let me tell you something. How this has blessed me, and how I just know beyond a shadow of a doubt that it is blessing the folks who are listening. But I want them to get the full benefit of a nugget from you. I mean, you've given a many, but I really want us to get to that key thing. Somebody's listening and they may feel like they're in pieces. They may feel like they were betrayed. Maybe they just had their face cracked because they realized, and I said face, not faith. They face cracked, right? Because you just made them realize, oh my gosh, I am creating a need to be needed and kind of cycle, hope leaking, heart shattered, all the things. What's one truth, just one, that you want them to walk away from this conversation with tonight?
At 49, I have learned that oftentimes we shine brighter after being broken.
Mm,
That there's something about the breaking, there's something about the cracking that it removes our need to be perfect, right? Because the reality is, God absolutely still uses broken things.
all day, every day.
He loves the things that have cracks in it because the word tells me that his strength is made perfect in my weakness. So those
What it
cracks
says.
that you're trying to hide, he knows that you're tired. He knows that you're ready to give up. He knows that you're drained, and he's simply just waiting for you to exhale and say, "Here." Because most times when we get to those places, we have not fully 100% relied on him and said, "Here." So most times we have to go through the breakings and the crackings and the betrayals because we remove Tamil out the way. And all I
Mm.
can do is go, Abba, here.
When you come to the end of yourself, and the Bible then declares that the end of a thing is better than the beginning. And it sounds to me like the nugget you want them to take away is Abba here.
When my heart is overwhelmed, lead me to the rock
That is
that
higher.
is in I. And when I am overwhelmed, something that Pastor Daphne Rice Bruce out of St. Louis taught me when Mama passed, and I live it. God, give me grace for this moment.
Oof.
Because without your grace, I'm gonna mess this up. I'm going to hey, God, Abba here. And when I say Abba here, I'm literally saying, give me the grace that I need for this moment.
And if we remember, give us this day our daily bread, it'll stop us from getting so far ahead of him, which goes back to what you said at the beginning of getting out of sync.
Mhm.
And I just want to tell you, sis, woman of God, friend, prayer warrior, way maker. Oh, wait.
Warrior, okay?
Warrior. No, notice what
Watch the eyes, warrior, okay?
I need to tell you. Thank you. Because the reason why we do this and we talk about all the things, and it has to be real talk, is we have to shed the old and the perspectives and the limitations and really dig down deep enough for the diamond. That's why it's called all the things diamond spaces, because all those facets have to shine. All those things that are in us need to be brought out. So I just want to thank you for taking this time, sharing with us. I need y'all to go follow her on all her social media channels. I need y'all to go and lift this woman of God up. She'll never talk about the things that she deals with, but she know that I love her, and I'm telling y'all, lift her up. Keep her lifted. I'm gonna do it anyway. Y'all keep her lifted. Keep each other lifted. How we gonna ever get to the place where we're fitly joined together if we don't get rid of all the foolishness and the self? So I just want to thank you for taking time, for joining us on all the things. I want y'all to be sure, share this link, tell friends, come subscribe to this podcast, please, and get ready for the next episode, which will be the second Tuesday in November. Catch up on the playlist on YouTube. And, remember, even at your darkest moment, the light of Christ in you is greater. And be ready to stand in his light, in his strength, and his power. I love you all, sis. I love you so, so much.
I love you.
And y'all have an amazing night, and join us on the next episode of All the Things. God bless you.